If you stripped away every dollar you own, every badge of status, every flashy object you think impresses her, would she still choose you? That's not a rhetorical question. I want you to picture it right now. Remove the watch, the car, the dinners, the trips. When all of that is gone, all that remains is you. And here's what no one really tells you. A lot of women, probably more than you realize, aren't drawn in by money to begin with. What actually pulls them in are things that cost absolutely nothing. And those things are far more dangerous, far more intoxicating, and far more addictive than any luxury you could ever buy. If you've been paying attention to Stoicism, you already know where this leads. Because real value never lives in the external world. It lives in the internal force you carry. Yet somehow, most men still miss this. So lean in for a moment. I'm about to share one of those truths that, once it clicks, you can't unsee it. And when you apply it correctly, women will start looking at you the same way they look at the man they promised themselves they'd never forget. First, the hidden currencies that make women forget about money altogether. What if I told you the things that keep a woman awake at night thinking about you have nothing to do with your bank balance? Not the digits in your savings account, not the car parked outside, not the designer label on your chest. For decades, we've been sold the same story, that women care about money above everything else. And yes, money can open doors and create comfort. But here's the harsh truth most men never uncover. Real lasting attraction runs on currencies that can't be bought, borrowed, or stolen. And the strange part is that most men spend their entire lives investing in the wrong place, convinced they're playing the game, while the men who earn her heart, her trust, even her obsession, are operating in a completely different economy. I learned this lesson the hard way. Years ago, I was sitting in a rooftop bar downtown, one of those places where a single drink costs more than your old phone bill. At the table next to me was a guy throwing money around like it meant nothing. Bottle service, oversized tips that made the staff nearly bow, designer shoes so spotless they looked brand new. The woman with him smiled, nodded, played her role. But every now and then, her eyes wandered across the room to another man. He was quiet, leaned back, not performing, not chasing attention, just talking with a friend and laughing at something genuine. He never once looked in her direction. And yet, she kept watching him. That's when it clicked for me. Money can buy attention, but it can't buy gravity. Women, at least the ones worth keeping, are drawn to men who radiate something deeper. A man who doesn't need her attention, doesn't need the crowd's approval, and certainly doesn't rent his personality from a luxury brand. That brings us to the first currency, composure. When you stand calm and steady in the middle of chaos, she feels a sense of safety no penthouse suite could ever provide. You're not quick-tempered, not desperate to impress, not reshaping yourself to fit her expectations. You move through life like a man who knows exactly who he is, and that makes her lean in without even realizing why. Then there's silence. Not the awkward, nervous kind, but the deliberate, owned silence of a man who doesn't feel compelled to fill every gap with noise. Most men collapse in silence, rushing to entertain her, terrified of boredom. But a man who can sit across from her, unhurried, grounded, and calm, letting the space between you exist, becomes a mystery she wants to unravel. Next is the ability to walk away and actually mean it. This is where most men lose themselves. They build their entire world around her instead of around their purpose. She becomes the sun, and they revolve around her. The moment that happens, Respect starts to fade. But when you live with the quiet certainty that no matter how beautiful she is, no matter how good it feels to be desired, you won't betray your values just to keep her, something shifts. She realizes you can't be purchased, not even with her affection. It's dangerous in the best possible way, because she knows you're there by choice, not by need. Then comes conviction. Those firm lines you refuse to cross. Women observe far more than you think. They notice how you treat the waiter, how you talk about people who can offer you nothing, whether your morals bend when no one is watching. Money might hold her attention for a night. Conviction is what makes her imagine a lifetime. And finally, the most intoxicating currency of all, controlled desire, not suppressing it, not pretending it doesn't exist, but owning it so fully that you can look at her, really look at her, and hold that fire in your eyes without rushing to act. You're not begging for a moment. You're creating one. You let her feel the tension without releasing it. And